Silence is rare to play. Nobody likes it. It's a bad course. It's not a fun course. I don't know why who at Nintendo thought right angles in an F-Zero course was a good idea. Or 180-degree right angles. Anyway, we're here. This is the end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We have 2 more segments to go. We're in the middle of investigation on the final day. I was falling asleep last stream. Unfortunately, I was just very tired, so I kind of, like, flubbed a lot of lines at the end. And, yeah. So here's what we're looking for. I don't know what we're looking for at this point. Stuff on the SL9 case, I guess. Emma's already taught me everything she had to tell me about it. So did Jake Marshall. So did Lana. Okay, so we've made a pretty decent chunk of progress here. All we know about SL9 right now is it involved a serial killer named Joe Dark. He killed a bunch of people, including Jake Marshall's brother. Jake Marshall disguised himself as Detective Goodman and went into the evidence room to try to get the SL9 evidence so that he can, like, look into the case himself. Because he feels that even though Joe Dark was convicted and executed, he feels there's something that's not adding up here. And Emma seems to be recalling the incident very very oddly. She seems to have seen something during the incident that she can't explain. And after that, Lana became very cold and distant from everyone. So there must be peculary. I peck your cheek. Peck, peck, peck. Peck your beak. I gotta put that in the stream deck. It's a good idea. I've been talking about updating the stream deck for over a year now, and I haven't done it yet. Remember when I got it? I was still playing Nirvana Initiative. God, that was a year and several months ago. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. I don't remember the voice I gave to the chief. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word I usually use for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits! Thanks. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Wow, okay. Just like that. Just like... Dark case may have been fabricated. That's what I thought all along. Just never bothered to tell anyone. There's a guy who cares about his work. So the villain used a time machine. He's writing a novel. So, check out the pipes on this guy's office. February 24th, Police Department, Chief's Office. And now you know why his theme uses the organ. Whoa, where am I? In the Chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said in the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. They're gonna increase the bus prices in the big city buses. Please no. Ugh. Yeah, that's something New Yorkers are well accustomed to. I thought I was a genius. I couldn't read that. Regular Gantendorf. Never could remember where C was. Hmm? Oh, it's Gant. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, how have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. The bus here costs like $1. Yeah. American public transportation is kind of gutted on purpose so that we could sell more cars because fuck our infrastructure. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture over there on the wall? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. A couple things not right in this picture. Gant team picture. Photo at the award ceremony of Gant, Lana, and Neil. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search their crimes. Why? Oh no, I already did the thing. Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in here. You mean like a clue? It's gotta be a way to get inside the chief's office. Wow, my girl voice is just not happening today, huh? Oh, I can't actually go in the police department. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where all the detectives are. We proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Room 1202. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by the inquiry committee? Took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Come back later where? Why would you just leave it on the couch? Something... Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I have a couple ideas of what we have to do here, but we're pretty limited on where we could go today. Okay. Oh, you don't want to help me, huh? Okay, back to criminal affairs, I guess. Yep. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle's between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there's been a lot of rumors going about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey, Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. Gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. Seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find anything out? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl? Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. Look, it's all written in here somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory. Joe Dark was 42 at the age of the crime. At the time of the crime, excuse me. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed them too. And then a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. He didn't see anything. What are you talking about? Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all just conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness, aka Emma. I know what you're talking about. You didn't see anything. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident written on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car's muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it, too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. So I'm moving a couple things around on my desk here. When you take a good look at that knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a good guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside of his own body. It was found deep within the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to murderer Joe Dark. Relative to Joe Dirt, who was a much nicer person. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not about money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something that we could show him that would make him change his mind. Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. I'll, keep that in mind. Sheesh. I know we have to go see Edgeworth at some point. I think it might be now. Yeah. There's another mystery that gets cleared up here, if I'm not mistaken. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. Looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Hold on, first let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What letter of... If you're having reading, I'll read it for... If you're having reading? Wow, I'm having trouble reading, apparently. If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I could use it for anything. Edgeworth discarded letter of resignation. He's serious. He's really gonna do it this time. Due to recent events, I hereby announce my resignation as public prosecutor. He really wrote a resignation letter. Wow, even when resigning, Mr. Edgeworth is cool and concise. Still, it wasn't his fault. Someone has to be held responsible. That's how it is in the grown-up world. Yeah, but that responsibility means nothing if he just quits. Well, not everyone sees it that way. To truly take responsibility, you should have to work the rest of your life for no pay. That's one tough grown-up world there. They say where there's smoke, there's fire. Apparently I was so caught up in the smoke I lost sight of the truth. Edgeworth. The others are right. I have no right to serve as a prosecutor. But Mr. Edgeworth, you were only doing your job. I've always made my own decisions about what I can and cannot do. That hasn't changed. Forgiving myself is something I cannot do. Uh-oh. This picture was hanging up on the wall in Chief Gant's office. How exactly did you get a copy of that, Phoenix? Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall's holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit both of them. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. An ancient tale ends with the merchant at loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. 2 years ago, the halberd was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, and my responsibility is the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought the case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice this long. It's only half as long as most lists. That's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seemed strange about it. Yeah, we already went over that. Could you tell us again what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered? You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Your package came in the mail? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. Sorry, just checking something. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. Right. That's right, right? You know, it wouldn't hurt if you put this up on a shelf, up somewhere, like on a shelf. That has no meaning for me anymore. What do you mean, anymore? That's who I was last year. What good is it to dwell in the past? He's asking me? Ugh, why can't he just accept it gracefully? Or graciously? Actually, something's been troubling me about the shield. We already know. Different, yeah. The other shield in the court record. I guess I better present this other shield. Right, please, I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and discuss this case with you over a cup of tea. I'll pass on the tea. Just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edgeworth just told you no in a very stylish manner. Whose side are you on, anyway? I think we've more or less done everything we could here. Excuse me. What do you think you count for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Starr, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Why would you say that? What bearing does this have on anything? Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence was set to be removed for due for transferal. This can't be all attributed to a mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. That's not a name I'll soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. He must have been going through hell. I mean, because of his brother's death. They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her, Lana Skye, my sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief CAN'T. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. I mean, with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved from our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. Damon CAN'T and Lana Skye. CAN'T led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon CAN'T's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief CAN'T's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the prosecutor, if he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for certain. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last. Finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. I don't have anything else to tell you. Miss Star, the only thing now I could give you is a poppy seed rice set. Talk about cheap. Eat this and maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files, turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. Gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you into the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. What's that crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too. But now I know different. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective. That's it, I've made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me, it's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective, thank you. Police Department ID allows the access to areas of the PD open to detectives. Detective Gumshoe isn't very photogenic, is he? Whatever you do, just don't say that to his face. Look, his eyes are half shut. Yeah, and his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons is off a notch. And he's got the narrow end of his tie in front. I think this goes beyond being a photogenic issue. Alright, back to the chief's office we go. Here goes, Mr. Wright. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. Redrawing your sonar so you can make it easily into 3D? Nice. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Ah! Ah! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah! Detective Gumshoe? What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking, I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what was the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered you unusable in pocket. Why would you do that, Phoenix? What was the point of that? Why not toast? I don't know. Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really don't want to get fired, do you? You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. Got a bad feeling about this. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day, 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy on preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be on alert. He told us himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one's ever touched that desk? No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. Can't possibly be any clues remaining. Tired, though. Used all your MP and most of your HP. Need a rest to recover, yeah. You Persona 3'd it. Used God Hand too many times. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be... No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on! Not so fast, buddy! Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal! You don't just let it go with that! Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief CAN'T might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief CAN'T, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. The Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is on the 15th floor of an entirely different building! When a detective screws up, the Chief calls him to his office, and makes them listen to the organ for hours. Chief CAN'T, scary G. Delph, goddammit. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. Aren't the Chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor. I know, I was just saying. Saying what? Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe sure has a lot of dreams. As long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that! These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them when she transferred to the prosecutor's office. I like those shelves. The 3 stacked up in the corner like that. Kind of reminds you... That and the glass table, doesn't that kind of remind you of the Modern series from Animal Crossing? That wasn't in New Horizons? Pissed me off. There's a small picture frame in the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. This looks like the Modern table. End table. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here, then went along with Chief CAN'T to question Dark. Bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? This was Lana's desk. It sure is tidy. Lana always was a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No, Chief CAN'T must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. It was the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? It does look like that, yeah. What is this? Is this a printer? Like, it's on like a separate desk. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop it... Wait, what, at first... What did he say? Hold up, what'd she say? I couldn't read it because of the text crawling. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here... At first, the Chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, it is a huge window. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh, be careful what you say. Who knows? The Chief may be hiding inside this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't get how scary the guy can be. Gant is causing inflation. Yes, he is. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh no, it's this chapter. Hey, hi, Izzy. How are you doing? Thank you for the follow the other day. Oh, it's you too. Oh, I already read this. Yeah, he put a paper in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. Just got done with lunch. Oh, cool. It is almost 1 a.m. where I am. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident. Wonder what this is doing here. Eat anything good for lunch? I had fried chicken for dinner tonight. It was alright. I mixed mustard and mayo together. Mustard AOAs. Hold on, Detective. What did you just say? I said wonder what... No, about the evidence list. Normally they're twice as long, right? That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized evidence list. Cheese and mayo is tasty? It could be. I've had mayo on sandwiches with cheese before. Oh, my neck. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about the case. Would appear so. Evidence list. A list of evidence in the SL9 incident was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. I wonder what this is. Looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is it? Did you find something? Can't make it out. Better keep quiet about it for now. Oh, no, it's nothing. Wow, coincidentally, Phoenix just happens to keep quiet about that sketch. Why are your eyes moving around like that, Mr. Wright? Better not forget this picture. Had noodles with soy sauce, roast chicken, tofu, and bok choy. Ooh, that sounds good. Never had bok choy before, but tofu chicken... Oh, roast chicken. Soy sauce, noodles with soy sauce. What did I have for lunch this week? On Friday? I had a poke bowl. Been eating too much of that lately. I need to cut back on the raw fish food. Oh, look at the size of Chief Gant's... Okay, we found this inside the drawer. List of evidence. Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of the list. What would this list be doing here? Better look a little more into this list. That's what the chief was reading before, right? Wait, a Pokeball was vanillish inside? No. Yeah, looks like the right side of the form's been torn off. So Mr. Edgeworth's list really was only half the whole thing. Half the whole. Something else is bugging me more than that. Take a look at the back of that form, pal. The back. We already looked at it. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. A 7-digit... Keep getting, like, suggested tweets that have, like, that on accounts I never use, and they keep popping my, my phone online. I haven't had a proper meal today. What? You gotta eat something. Cereal. Anything. Bread. Don't eat food. A 7-digit number. I think I might know just what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date. It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Damn. Code input error. Guess that wasn't it. I was so sure it was that was the number. Maybe we should check the court record again. A 7-digit number. Well, there's only one 7-digit number we haven't used yet. It was on here, and it's 7777777. Too late. Yes, I often do this sort of thing. Well, eat something. Get a snack to watch the stream with. Actually, wait, before I do anything, hold on. Joe Dark to see. I like how it obscures his face, even though we know what his face looks like. Serial killer responsible for the SL9 incident 2 years ago was given the death penalty. Prosecutor murdered 2 years ago in the SL9 incident. Jake Marshall's brother. But to be honest, I need protein. It's probably why a beef and rice bowl sounds nice right now. I just ate dessert like an hour ago. No, oh, it was almost 2 hours ago now. It's like I shouldn't eat anymore today, but God knows when this is done, I'm gonna go back and eat. I think this isn't important. This is just, Whoa, this area must have been covered in blood. Is this from that incident? It must be. When Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. 2 years ago have passed, so the reaction's kind of dull. So murder really did take place here. Food is too damn good. Yes, it is. That and I just have unhealthy eating habits, because I eat breakfast. So here's how my eating habits go on a normal day. I wake up for work at 11. At around 2 or 3, I'll have breakfast, which is lunch. At 6, I'll have lunch, which is dinner. And then usually after I'm done streaming at like 4 in the morning, I will eat cereal before I go to bed. So I kind of pushed all my meals around. I usually eat 3 things, though, even though cereal is probably just like the last thing I eat. I swore there was more blood over here somewhere, but whatever. For you only eat dinner and supper. Those are 2 different things? Anyway, it should be pretty obvious what the code to the safe is. It's the only 7-digit number we haven't used yet. Code confirmed. Access granted. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 777777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered that room that day. You mean 777777, that ID number? I think you're 1 7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Port Town Jump still works in practice mode? I thought it didn't. I watched a video of someone trying the Port Town Jump, and it didn't work. And I'm pretty sure it was in practice mode. Maybe they didn't hit it right. They get picked up and put back on the track. Is there money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here, too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in that safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these 2 items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something we could show the detective. Well, we know what the shard is. Missing shard of the pot. Where is it? Detective Gumshoe, can you take another look at this jar? I remember when the 3 of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one that was found in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Yeah, let's assemble. Here, let me take that shard. Let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. That rhymed. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief CAN'T was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. I don't get it. This piece isn't... What? Anyone in this jar? What? But it has to. Well, I need a breather. I'll try it again later. If you don't, I'll switch your eye drops with my special solution. Damn it, I hit B by accident. This collection's a little jumpy. Text boxes advance a little too quickly. The back button kicks in a little too quickly. I hope the Apollo Justice trilogy fixes it and keeps all the quality of life features from the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. There. Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief CAN'T willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this! What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief CAN'T hide this in his safe? Final fragment found in Chief CAN'T's safe. Blood traces. Hey, look, it's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. It's like blood. The piece Chief CAN'T has is different, though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots. This one's a line. That is odd. Fucking sus right there. Yeah, no kidding. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. You want to take some fingerprints. That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you sticking your hand out like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about the cloth we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Gave it my best shot. That result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? Okay, it's like the same. Jump has been made 1,000 times slower than normal play. Really? Also not great. No. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. Thought they'd be Dark's prints. Psst. Hey, you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Evidence for something, but what? Bears Emma Sky's prints, found in Chief DeAnt's safe. Well, was I of any help? This is a handprint, right? Yeah, someone left behind an oil stain on the fabric. Whoever it was, they must have had a really oily hand. Mr. Wright, think about it scientifically. Huh? A more likely explanation is the person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor, getting wax all over their hand. Well, that would account for this amount of oil, I guess. I don't see what's so scientific about it, though. It happens, you know. I always slip on the floors at school after they're waxed. Yeah, about that. Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we will get some hard evidence. Now, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Ah! Chief CAN'T. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. You mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to ask you. I have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now get out! Yes, sir! We'll be on our way too, then. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like to have a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright! Look, pal, if I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? Thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Oh no, yeah. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief CAN'T was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy from the rest of the day. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over the past couple days is about absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you into silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly frightened of. What is this person's name? It's pretty obvious, it's literally right here. Well, Miss Sky, writers make a psyche lock without making a psyche lock, yeah. Anyone who doesn't know Ace Attorney, you'll find about those when I play the next game, eventually. Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Don't worry about it. You're not spoiling anything. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? Excuse me. Got a bit of a bad throat right now. I'm afraid of him too. I knew something was friggin' up with this guy. His crimes. Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant. Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was... me. I had access because I was second in command to that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon CAN'T. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified that evidence in the case. You want proof of the Chief's wrongdoings? Here it is. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, all right. But it's not the Chief. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes, you seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have the makings of a criminal in you. What with all your fallacious accusations? Oh, I should have presented the cloth. Care to spend tonight in the cell next to mine? If you ask me, you're the scary one. Right, because she wouldn't know the cloth had any... We don't know the cloth has anything to do with it. I just found this in a safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Well, I was going to show the cloth anyway. Why couldn't I present that? Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than the Chief himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? The bailiff in the back, the guard in the back has got to be like, what the fuck am I listening to here? Touché, Mr. Wright. the guard hearing all this by the door must be like, oh, where is he?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
He's like, wait, is my boss a bad guy? It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Yeah, he ain't getting paid enough for this. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman, or perhaps I should say follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Mr. Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that the murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck into it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave the knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's? That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then... she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? So she stabbed a dead body. Why did you need to hide the Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't want it ever to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife? The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. Hey Karma, welcome back. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. What happened? I don't know how long you were gone. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. I've hid stuff in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe too. It's very tight in there. Right, then I called my sister. to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident. About Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief CAN'T, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed his help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. So Jake already knew Neil Goodman was dead by the time he disguised himself as him. And tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, my remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. Any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room? I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and investigator. May I point out that she's supposed to be sitting in a chair? So she turned around like that? That means she's sitting with her legs over the sides of the chair. Or her legs through the back of it. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. Gotta get to the bottom of everything. Including Edgeworth's tailpipe. Detective Goodman's real murderer. Lana likes to speen, yeah. Vinny actually just went off on a whole thing about how people use speen a lot now, and how it's just kind of evolved past him. Like, it's just a meme now on the internet. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. I don't like how it doesn't make the noise. February 25th, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. Insert old man yells at cloud pick. Want your tailpipe to just be filled with... Okay. I'm trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? You know, remember there being a bit of buzz about the chief prosecutor of some country in Europe resembling Lana? I remember that too. I also remember, Conan O'Brien looked like the Finnish Prime Minister, or was it the Icelandic Prime Minister? I can't remember. That was like an old thing back in the day. I think it was Finland. Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth, knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777-7777 ID card number is, that is. Tarja Halonen, yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. No, it was a bit. Conan did it as a whole bit, and he eventually went and met her in person. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. Weird things can become memes, yeah. Like, oh, well, Vinny's speen thing is all over the place. You know, the only reason I didn't reach yeah, he actually met her, yeah. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all that doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. 5 minutes, Wright and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But you didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much, that's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and it's the only way we'll ever know the truth. Is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. We're in court. You're already seeing me in court. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., courtroom number 9. Blue sub number 5. It was a blue sub number 9. I'm going to take a very quick bathroom break here. I'll be right back. Delicious hydration. Good stuff. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is where the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. It fades into existence. That's how he actually appears. He fades in and out. She almost tripped to the obligatory tuning toing sound. I don't have that. I have and also got these. Do the pie sound? Will that be splat? Yeah, it's pie splat. Morning, folks. How's everybody doing? Hey, Udgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. And in the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! I request Taco Bell. Me too. I could go for... Man, I could go for some fucking Taco Bell right about now. That was the wrong folder. That's also the wrong folder. That's also the wrong folder. I don't know where my sound effects are. You can't. Your Honor. The defendant's claim does not change the defense... The defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. Yo quiero. Yeah, Taco Bell. Been craving it for days now, yeah. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana... Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defense certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant... Objection! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. I mean, she confessed. Doesn't matter. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everybody operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As it stands, as its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue... I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Thank you for the follow, White Shade 2067. I appreciate it. Thank you, really. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. If only we got to play as him. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? What the fuck was that word? My occupation. I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark Killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'll have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember that this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 12 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake. Just then, the lights went out. Drake! Dark! Wow, that's dyslexic of me. The lights... It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. It was pitch dark in that room. You shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. And the sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Whoops. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough information? This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. What's this? I like how he, put it in his other hand because he didn't know what it meant by turning it over. What's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that evidence list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they're torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in the case ever reached you. What? What? Order! Order! But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If this evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth? It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? You even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing! That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in front of the evidence room. Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. List of evidence in the SL9 incident. Half this list was found in Gant's desk. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. I don't know why I started laughing there all of a sudden. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning can burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Chief Prosecutor Marshall. I almost did the exact same thing that Eric Vale did as Phoenix Wright when he says Myrtle. Myrtle! The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Oh, that shouldn't be there. There's actually another new version of PNG Tuber Plus that finally makes the volume controls go over the model. So I won't have to worry about it getting in the way. I have to go download it. Nothing about the crashing incident. Those two shadows are just my intrusive thoughts winning against you. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. Was it influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated our memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out or you might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is something bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims it's exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. There is? Celery. I'm hungry. I could go for some celery. Celery with not sour cream. Your sour cream. Celery with, cream cheese on it. That'd be really delicious right now. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I know penny taste. I know what you're gonna say. It tastes like pennies. Sauerkraut instead. Sauerkraut's good. I could go for sauerkraut on there. Good gut culture in that. I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During the time the investigation team was reorganized, Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon CAN'T and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, memory should have still been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But could you please tell us why this picture is all painted black? Flash of lightning was all bright, so all I could see were shadows. Beat you to it, yeah. Trust me, I know I get the comparison. I could see why people think celery tastes like pennies, but I happen to like the taste of it. Meanwhile, people say LaCroix tastes like pennies, and I hate LaCroix, so there you go. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. It's fine if it's cooked. See, I've never had cooked celery before. I've only ever had it raw. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Friggin' Joe Dark with his onion head. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't actually see the murder take place? No. I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off that darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You really need to torture this girl any further? Did you hear the audio cut out there? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Oh, good, they got each other for that. Wait, onion head. Wait, what? Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sissel. Oh, yeah. Don't talk about Ghost Trick. Yeah, don't spoil any Ghost Trick, because No URL Please has not played it yet, and they want to. Don't know about Ghost Trick, don't talk about Ghost Trick. You either ghost or you trick, bro. Name of deceased, Neil Marshall, 27 male. Yes, because you know who told you. I think I know who you're talking about. Date of time of death, February 19th between 7 and 7:30. Cause of death, single stab wound with piercing heart and lung. Died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon in wound was missing tip. Holy cow. Yeah, there's no word over there. Again, the VTuber head's blocking it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it like it was just yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out the contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? The knife is already broken here, apparently. It's already flat-edged. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is already broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken there, too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly have wound up in there. That's right, but what does that mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. But she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. We've already done this like a million times. Can we not? The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon CAN'T. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in the story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding him up. The man really was holding up a broken knife. There we go. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one. If the witness is adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall's holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was all in likelihood from this award. Order! 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 Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. Cafe. And as an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be! Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murder and the victim would be reversed! What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife here would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. It's really funny when my controller rumbles while it's on the table, because it sounds like a duck honk. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Oh god, is this the one I think the presentation here is really annoying, if I'm not mistaken. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Objection! Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further! Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. Lana, girl. Or did he? No, he didn't. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange, but I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember. Oh brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. I assume you say that man. I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seemed so convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. Shadows grow the same persona. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember what I did clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Park life. Miss Skye was also killed before she was Miss Skye was almost killed before she was a witness to a murder that about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with that knife. Did Blur come out with a new album? I haven't listened to them in a few years. What you did was very brave, young girl. So what then? What happened next? Back in like 2021 and 2022. No, not even 22. It was just 2021, really. I was like on a very big Spotify kick because Nessie got me a membership or a gift card. So I just listened to a bunch of artists' discographies. I've talked about this before. Because like I've been very detached from mainstream music, especially like older mainstream music. So I took that opportunity to listen to a bunch of artists from, 2000s and earlier. Blur's a modern band, technically. They've been around for a while. I listened to all of Talking Heads and David Bowie. What else? There was a couple bands I listened to. I did do all a Blur. Yeah, whatever. His shadow? You mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. Hey, Atman, how you doing? The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. What's important is that what he caused her to think she saw what she did. Blah, blah, blah. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? Then by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was. What was it that Emma saw when the lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on the fateful day 2 years ago, there was indeed something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that's now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright! In this very room. Very well then, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's, what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. Yeah, this part. Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. No, oh yeah, oh boy, this part indeed. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Yeah, if I recall, this wasn't the easiest thing to do on the DS. The detection on this was very bad. I don't know if that's good enough. Yeah, no, it's not. This isn't right. I gotta make it look more like the badger. Allow me to remind the defense that its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Mr. Wright can't match the shape to what the witness drew. We cannot accept this claim. Gotta find just the right angle. Maybe we should rotate it vertically, or a bit more, or horizontally. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. Gotta show them the correct angle to look at this from. I hate this. Music, yeah. Oh my god! Yeah, this is... everyone hates this part. Yeah, bullshit. It was bullshit. Maybe I got it backwards? Maybe it has to be from this angle? Hold on. Maybe it's this angle, because the ears gotta be pointing down. No, that's not right. Perfect, right? No. Fuck off. They're just bullying Phoenix and myself at this point. They're tighter. I hate this! Yeah, no, it was like this in the DS version, though. I remember having to do this multiple times. That's why they don't penalize you for getting this wrong. Edgeworth, you shut your whore mouth. Just look at, yeah, just look. It's mocking you. eye's kind of doing its left eye's kind of doing that bleeding thing, like in Yume Nikki. It's the right angle. You just need the upper tip to resemble a circle. Fuck am I supposed to do that? Like that? Wait, there, like that. Fuck you! Yo. The other way. I actually don't know, like... They can see it! Well, come on, man. This sucks. This is gonna drive me nuts. Okay, no. Don't salt emoji me. Let's see you do it if you think you're so smart. No, seriously. I'm getting it right. You could see, look. Okay, look at the top and the bottom. That's perfect. Wait. Maybe I have to get the maybe I have to get it perfectly, like the angle has to be like straight up and down. There can't be any bump. So like maybe if I do this, or no, maybe this. Fuck. No, also I'm not telling you to actually solve it. Don't worry. I'm not yelling at you. That was a meme. There's like a meme of Biden with a two-piece puzzle saying like, "You solve it, smart guy," and then someone pasted Germa over it. Actually, yes, Ephraim. Show me the picture of it. Two handles have to be obscured entirely. What? Like, no. I fucking... No, look, I wasn't actually yelling at you. Look up the meme that I brought up. Okay, you know what? While someone gets me an image, I'll go get the meme. Might as well start taking shots and see who's getting drunk. No, don't. Why can't I just open an image? There we go. Okay, we got multiple images. Alright, that's one. That's another one. Karma, you just linked to burb.com. That's not... Should see it in Discord. Yeah, okay, 3 people sent it to me. Thank you. That's what I was presenting! I presented that angle multiple times here. I presented this angle multiple ass times. Look at that. Very lightly, okay, very lightly in the edge. Very lightly in the edge. That's what I need to do. I hate this. Why is this one part of this case so bad? Okay, and I'm actually going to get the image I was looking for now. Here, this is what I meant to show off before. Yeah, okay, smart guy, let's see you take a crack at it, and it's a 2-piece puzzle. People have edited Germa to be in this image. Okay. Going to make an attempt here. Can you give the old college try? Followed by the old college dropout afterwards. First off, the fact that they don't give you the thing straight is annoying. You gotta make it straight. That's not straight enough, I don't think. This should be perfect. Fuck off! Why? This is so stupid! That was literally perfect! Also, stop resetting the jar every time I move it. I'm gonna kill someone. I'm gonna be the next case in Ace Attorney because I'm about to kill someone over this. There we go. For fuck's sake. I don't think I had it. I think I had it horizontally incorrectly. I think I had it tilted too far to the left in most of those tries. They had a chance to fix it, but no, they did not. No, they didn't. I'm finding out that this trilogy really cut a lot of corners in keeping everything intact. Hopefully the Apollo Justice trilogy does better. Well, is this a miracle or what? Yeah, no kidding. After all the work I just did on that. Breaking news, local bird killed someone with jar. Doesn't say resembles a badger at all, yeah. Can we stop hearing this music now, please? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No. It can't be! Order. The defense has proven its claim that the mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, oh boy did it get dramatic. One question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then, please tell us. What's different now about now that we know the witness saw the jar? Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen the jar? Where? The location of the jar shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. Need a drink after that jar, hell yeah. I'm gonna put Bowser in the jar. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon CAN'T. But the body was found lying near Lana Skye's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it's these two facts that revealed what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Skye's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief CAN'T's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon CAN'T's office to Lana Skye's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop that trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent that jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No. Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking! Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I could go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Thud. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with their own testimony. This is unprecedented. Way to re-traumatize someone. Oh yeah, no. Absolutely. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. The plot thickens like a steamy bowl of hedgehog stew in the afternoon. I wonder how hedgehog stew would taste. Probably very gamey. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. Yes, you can! We literally had Mia show up in 2 cases earlier. This all has been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Wild Goose, a ship that I have not used a lot of in F-Zero. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? Just doink Maya, she's not here. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. Part of the reason Maya wasn't in this case, yeah. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Don't think that would be permissible unless the court? Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Unless the court accepts channeled spirits. I mean... let's wait a few games. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, I'm surprised someone didn't make a Lana spinning gif. There's no left-facing sprite of her. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Just reverse the right-facing sprite? Yeah, but then her badges are going to be backwards. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. I mean, yeah, you could do it. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't do it. It just won't look perfect. Mr. Wright! Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Erase the badge. No. Whatever. Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. The jar again. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left on here, on the surface of the jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood in some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. Maybe this case was also a glimpse of Edgeworth's path into becoming a more honorable prosecutor. Yep. No! Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Guess who? Oh, right, there's one behind me.
Take that!
Some feel Wright is too good at his job here, but yeah. It is a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's what I've been saying. That's what all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. Because, yeah, he's still being an ass, but at the same time he's helping you get to the bottom of the case, yeah. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may have not meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief CAN'T, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Ah! Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. Innocent, yeah, in 4 sets of quotation marks. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely peacekeepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death? How could he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 The gavel's pounding found on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where the trial is headed, no one knows. Final segment coming up. February 25th, 12:06 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble again. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Someone give me some non-alcoholic drink, Jesus fucking Christ. Reese's Puffs, beat Gant up, beat Gant up. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective runner all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. You said this yesterday. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was just talking about that the other day. Imagine living in a world where the law books have pictures of little animals on them. Look, it's me. It's me on there. Detective Burb. Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess... Oh, the Zephyrberry, thank you for the raid. Berry raid. It's in the Blue Badger in the first time. Thank you for the... Oh, thank you both for the follow there. It's got two at once. I think it kind of overlapped. There we go. Burblock Holmes, yeah. What are you streaming, Zephyr? Hello. Hello, Aaron. Aaron T. Thank you so much. We're getting there. We're on our way to 750 at this point. Very, very slowly, but we're getting there. Love your PNG tuber model. Karma made it for me. And Karma in chat. Shout Zephyrberry. I don't know. I don't think it's like it's exclamation point shout. Hold on. I've actually never done it myself. No, that didn't work. Oh, it's slash shout. I'm thinking Nightbot, that's why. Yeah. There we go. Streaming just chatting. Doing something special? Only works with mods. I'm not gonna ask for such. You didn't do it though. You did exclamation point. You didn't do slash shout out. I might make you a mod, Karma. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about what'll happen if I do. I also don't really need a mod. We don't really have that many people here, usually. Guess I need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law from Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Blah, 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 blah. Looks like that book will do you any good now, though. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence present must be relevant to the case on trial. Thank you so much for the follow. Rules for submitting evidence. It's a big book used to tell 1 page worth of information. It's this case. Yep, this is the last segment coming up. All that's left now is Chief Prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's all but been ruined. Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you're unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. 12:52. Why does it say PM? Usually it says AM or PM when you're doing the court days. Very inconsistent about that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. All you in the peanut gallery better fucking behave now. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much, everyone who just followed me. I appreciate it a lot. I'm not sure if all the notifications popped up, but thank you. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, Normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. Maybe it's because the idea of a court case having at 12:52 a.m. is a little absurd, so the inconsistency is annoying, yeah. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? Guess everyone's running on coffee and spite, yeah. That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. I'd be so pissed if I were in court at 12:52 a.m., yeah. This ain't night court. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth its next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial's as good as over. The defense calls. This time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Should at least order everyone some food or overtime pay. They should be doing both. Damon CAN'T. The defense calls Damon CAN'T to the stand. Damon CAN'T? What does he have to do with anything? As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. CAN'T has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also have been the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. CAN'T to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Love CAN'T, hate his theme, really. I actually love his motif. His leitmotif, which is only used in one song, so it's not really a leitmotif. Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Okay, it's lunchtime, but, well, still, lunch food, please. Just a repetitive, yeah. The beginning part is. He's not staring anymore. Please, Mr. CAN'T. Fine. My name is Damon CAN'T. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief CAN'T, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident business. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. Sorry, I just love that tie Damon has. I love Damon CAN'T's design in general. He was one of my favorite characters when I first played this game. I was really having a trouble getting names and occupations, yeah. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police... Police? You just love his hair? His hair is good, too. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you could see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor unconscious. This game was all about criticizing the Japanese justice system, yeah. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Just like I did to Edward's tailpipe the other day. I feel like trying to find the murderer in Ace Attorney is like trying to find a stand user in a lightly crowded subway station. Yeah. I bet you've never lost a game of Who's the Pro Tag. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right, I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway... if I had a stand, it'd be called Thunder Chicken. And it would be a round-looking... it would look like my persona, but just round. And able to use electricity to some effect. So kind of like Red Hot Chili Pepper, but not evil. Red Hot Chili Pepper's a kappa. It isn't so much finding out who did it, but rather expose them, yeah. Pikachu's a chicken? I'm not sure. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to this incident. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right, I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was this defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? Not gonna lie, I'd love to see a fan game of Ace Attorney where Phoenix is solving civil disputes. I mean, it happens once in the series later on, but then it turns into a murder anyway, so... Actually, it happens twice, technically. Well, it's not really a civil suit, but civil suit happens once. I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. Power outage didn't help either. But you gotta press the entire testimony to expose weak links, yeah. So two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about a power outage? You know about the power outage, Edgeworth. Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. There was a man named Von Karma standing outside of it. It was rather unsettling. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. That's what I did when I played the game, huh? You just pressed everything until you found something, yeah. I'm just doing it to be safe. See what you're... Oh, Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Gant's stare is even more unsettling in HD, yeah. And apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. We already pressed these two, but I should be doing them in order, honestly. Sometimes you need to press to then press something else instead. But I don't think that's the case here. I think I actually just need evidence. I'm just stalling because I don't remember what it was. There's a lot of stuff we can link to him. Not the cloth. Either the evidence list, the jar piece. I love pressing men. I guess it was the jar. Yeah. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that's a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. It's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence we uncovered in your office, are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit it then? Yet you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Actually, I'm going to save that clip because there's a scene from that I need to keep. There's a... I've been taking screenshots of various things in this chapter that foreshadow stuff, and I just realized that there's stuff foreshadowing things that happen way in the future in this game, in this chapter. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Gumshoe's salary drops... the foreshadow within the foreshadow, yeah. If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Aji. In return, though... I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys telepathic? Yeah, they had some sort of plan together. They were doing something. Something maybe little homosexual going on after there. Just two old dudes hanging out together. I'd appreciate if you could stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped. Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. Urgh. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Tipped what? A cow, probably. It was a sheep farm. They tipped a sheep. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, righto? It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. As long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, righto, think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I would care for the word murder here, but in the end the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Ah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motive for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, if you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would someone have helped him out? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you've positively determined to portray the Chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Lana, Skye. I just noticed that Lana and Emma are not 10 years apart, unlike Mia and Maya.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would have also had a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. Yeah, there it is. The truth come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay? The The reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief CAN'T. But how would he profit from all this? Sorry, I was looking at something. He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Right-ho, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Okay, sorry. I was just checking something. Clarification on something I brought up earlier in the ramble. Bum. I want to become a puppet. Imagine how fun it is to just dance on strings. Yeah, but having your body turn into wood would feel weird. Things to think about later. What? I mean, what? Do you have any proof of this, that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against CAN'T. Second favorite music piece in this game. Nice. Would try plush doll. Introduce you to a Banetta now. I'm friends with someone named Inktail. Their persona is literally a giant plush cat. Like literally a plushy cat. I'm afraid without any proof, all this amounts to is nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. You know that ours too? Inktail, yeah. We were at they were at Furrydelphia. We hung out at Furrydelphia for a bit. We got breakfast on Sunday morning, and that's when I got my stomach bug that lasted the rest of that day. I felt so bad that I couldn't hang out with everyone. No, their name is Inktail. They're a plush cat. That's their persona. That's just their name, I think. I don't know if ink has anything to do with their persona. Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. I'm like ruining a good moment here with idle banter, sorry. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief CAN'T is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible. Nothing's impossible, Luigi. Only improbable. No, sorry. It's Luigi that says that. Nothing's impossible, Mario. Only improbable. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier-to-understand language. Right, how could you do this, you bitch? It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Always impossible for the judge. Man could confess and judge would doubt it, yeah. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us the evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Is it the time card? With his number on it? This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on that list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777-7777. Sorry, but there's no way you could prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe? I'm like, what am I doing? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777-777-7. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Look at this SpongeBob meme. I don't know which one you're talking about. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. I'll be punished, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm the chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. Oh, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Is this your card? No, is that the name on your card? Yeah. Oh, it's that meme. I thought there was a meme about the number 7777777. Tell me, when you enter the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do at the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet with Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police himself. But you are in possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it, I might have just done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's just not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Chief Gant, you didn't! Murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would have chose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Gant's like a bomb when he gets angry, yeah. Second best freak out in the game series. I don't know, the later games have some good ones. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. His actual freak out later is really good. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? Don't say the name of the person, because I won't spoil it, because there's people watching this that haven't played Ace Attorney. Karma, I'm gonna bonk you. Hold on. I was at the police department the entire day, you know? And everyone was aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. I'll say this, the guy goes Super Saiyan. Oh, really? That one? Okay. That's an interesting choice, but yes, that is up there. I will say that is definitely one of the better ones. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was just a useless clue taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us the evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Ah! After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. So what would happen if Edgeworth had gone literally anywhere else and opened the trunk? What if the car broke down on the drive over? Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? AI-16. There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body of your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? This is her second murder charge, yeah. Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? This little bitch, yeah. Run away, don't make me laugh, worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show us your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon CAN'T is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? No use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. Why does Gant's outfit look so rubbery and squeaky? I don't know. It's just shiny. It's just how the game looks. See, Aji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble when you can't afford to lose, right-ho. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji, I'll leave the rest to you. I have the idea of his suit squeaking as he walks, yeah. Like that Saturday Night Live bit where, what's-his-name, is wearing all the leather, and he has like the leather phone that like he opens and you just hear the phone going like while he's pressing the buttons on it. It's like, yeah, this leather is made of venomous snake skin. It's actually making my legs feel numb while I'm wearing it. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. Really should be a much greater penalty than one... Yeah, but remember, this is Ace Attorney 1 where there was no health bar originally. It was really just exclamation points. And you had 5 of them. Which they go back to later in the series. We haven't had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... the defendant. Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant? Oh, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. I just realized I have glasses exactly like Gant's, except they're circular. But they are seeing eye glasses that are pink. But those look more purple than pink. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. (2:04 p.m. Intimidation of the witness, yeah. Well, he's the chief of police. He can just do whatever the fuck he wants, apparently. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take on place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How's it he always gets the upper hand? Oh dear. Dear God, your chest feels heavy and you just stood up. Oh, that's not good. Might be heartburn. It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. Risks. What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Oh, it's Emma. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. Your chest was pounding, so it isn't heartburn. That's not good. You should go see a cardiologist. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. Not sure the Fifth Amendment works this way. Well, it does in this game. So she's heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I know what really happened. Karma, I'm telling you right now, please take care of yourself. Don't let any potential heart issues stick around. I'll talk to you later about that. This isn't the Fifth Amendment, at least in this world, yeah. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she'd changed. Perhaps it was easier for her that way. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. You want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. One more, we got about an hour of the stream left, so this works perfectly. 2:21 p.m. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Brain, every time it sees Lana Skye, just thinks Lawnmower Skye. That's an interesting, connection. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get to Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I arranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana, if this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You were told me so much as yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what happened when you arrived at the crime scene? It seemed like I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? The prosecutor marshal died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Drake? Dark! That's the second time I did that. Something like that. If that is so, then what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound? And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? Drake from Advance Wars. Hey, someone call for me. You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Skye fabricated the knife. Knew the tip of the weapon found buried would be all the proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his own knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound. Get out for the night, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your stream. Thank you, Zephyrberry. I appreciate it. Thank you for the raid. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. I said it again! Fuck. Unpardonable. There we go. There's nothing I could do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let the witness have explained it in more detail. The reason Miss Skye moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. Miss Skye, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring it to everyone's attention. A significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write a message on the jar, it must not have yet been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. You know, it's sad that Mia would have also kind of done this, so she was in Lana's place. Yeah, probably. She would have protected Emma. Or, she would have protected Maya. Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more info is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. May be able to find something missing here. Something critical. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you are in the dark as we are, about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Something moist. Something smooth and hard. That comes up later. Jar and message in blood. Something critical with a 1. What's up, everybody? It's me, Critical. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. No, you didn't. Very easy one to get. Miss Skye, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? You were here when we showed that piece before. I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may be well, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once had wasted an entire day looking for my dentures, and they were in my mouth all along. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he were the first there, why would he break the jar? Why is there no music here? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Must be good dentures if he couldn't feel it. More like he forgot they were in his mouth. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon CAN'T arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Why would Chief CAN'T do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought CAN'T's aid. Lending her his aid, CAN'T helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Man, she bit her thumb so hard blood came out. It's like what happens when people in Attack on Titan, for people to turn Titan. Fabergé egg. Fabergé egg, man! Honus Wagner card, man!
Diamond Man? The robot who shoots diamond missiles that explode into 4 diamonds?
No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who looks to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if I were to buy fast food and we're still smack dab in the middle of CAN'T's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe Wright after all. What do you mean, Wright? So do you tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief CAN'T help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really is a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who had saw proof of you were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Turn my bedding to a nest that's quite comfy. Oh, nice. Mr. Wright, please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? So you remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. Must be a picture in there somewhere. P.O. Hey, there's a picture in here. Ugh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Piyu Puyo Poyo, yeah. Crime scene photo from the case taken 2 years ago. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest, could that be the cloth that we found inside Chief CAN'T's safe? Nest bed, yes. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Nest bed is nest bed. Again, this is a highly critical part, yeah. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Indeed, chirp chirp. Yeah, you don't actually get to do that cross-examination. It just gets cut off. Actually, maybe you do, I don't know. Come now, Uchi. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief CAN'T. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I could still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So what's your excuse, Wright-o? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Near Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. So I'm going to save here because, as is said in chat, there is actually a bad ending here. And if you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence. Alright, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who really murdered Prosecutor Marshall. It's a piece of leather cloth. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim onto the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Wright-o has already checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But... Give it up, Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No! 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 Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty, on all counts. Yeah, you get fucked. There's a better... the second game has a better bad ending than that. I'll say that. There's a bad ending to the second game as well, and it's really good. It's a really good bad ending. Anyway, cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief CAN'T, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. You're about to swear in Spanish. You're about to swear in Filipinish? Is that really what it's called? Filipinish? I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. No. Okay. What are you talking about, Chief CAN'T? It's Tagalog, yeah. I knew that wasn't... That didn't sound right. Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. Yeah, part of it was cut out before the victim was stabbed, because all the blood is underneath it. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wright-ho. By not falling for his bluff, he incriminated... Yeah, you'll see. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it to look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would... I knew when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. This man's unhinged, yes he is. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. I mean, you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence. What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Ho 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 ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come now, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief CAN'T, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it, I didn't want to have to do that being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Seriously, Gant's outfit and personality is giving me ideas you shouldn't say. Tell me them later, Karma. Go for the kill. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean it cannot have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. You're slow as uptake on the Everworthy. Oops. What? Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? And Mr. Wright, do you really know? Does he know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Emma. Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and yet you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Skye, you knew whose fingerprints were on all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you were absolutely right. This piece of evidence proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? Neil Marshall. Whoa. It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? If lies were cats, you'd be an entire fucking litter. That's a good one. What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of this vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood in his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. It's only natural. His lungs were no doubt punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth... Wait, there's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. Most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armored sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. It reminds me of O'Hara, I don't know why. Destroy his ass. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue, and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted to only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, You prove that you were the actual murderer. Oh, hair. Oh. No! It's finally all over. Shocking, we forget to put some blood on the cloth, yeah. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you'll refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed a piece of that cloth. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, this piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. CAN'T's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? No, if I admit to that, all my planning will— oh, whoops. It seems Mr. Wright didn't understand the implication of his conduct. Sorry, excuse for a lightning bolt. You're going to change your position. This is your only chance, Wright. He's right. I admit I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. CAN'T. Huh? It's not that I didn't present the evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence that never get brought up again in the future. No, Archie, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Can't use the burb power. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying that I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was this picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, this piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon CAN'T. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon CAN'T. The killer was you. I knew I shouldn't have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he had been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yes, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Yeah, he truly doesn't give one fuck about anyone else. Ugh! Also, he just told Edgeworth, buy a new trunk. Leaving the prosecution's a car aside. How? How could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I could feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon CAN'T. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. and worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Damon CAN'T Judge really do the old gay ones, yeah. Murder gays. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes, first, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon CAN'T betrayed you from the very beginning. You see, Miss Skye, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial's over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had CAN'T help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Skye, and to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over the past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job, Tsundere. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Oh my god, Atman, what is that? Yoshil? Buff Yoshil. That's awesome, I love that. I want emotes like that someday. I have a ton of emote slots. I need to get some, like, multi-pieced emote like that. Miss Skye. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Gumshoe, do your thing, yeah. Throw the confetti. That is all. This court is adjourned. 5:03 p.m. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now after that trial ended. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? It's the third time they've used that joke. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came here today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Also, he's not a detective anymore. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked CAN'T to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. Sibling instinct, you totally get it. Yeah, exactly. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. Took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that you'd come day one. I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Actually, I'm going to save that because I'm going to use a clean shot of that for the thumbnail. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on to a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my own mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief CAN'T was right. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows, given enough time, I might try to pull something like Chief CAN'T did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I cannot continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon CAN'T and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own.
Take that!
That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had half the list, and I had the other half. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. You're the best of friends, Yeah. Gotta wrap this up, it's after 4. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. Damon was a shipper in disguise. Lana and Damon were never seen again. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my own problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going too. Okay, but I'll come by to visit soon, alright? It seems we both have a lot to learn, and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation with a bird on it! And it's the same bird. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. Journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. See, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, maybe okay, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who's going to be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. They don't start doing that till the second game, and then they added it into this case, the objection ending. Well, actually, no, the first game did technically end it for whatever. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. I'll be foot in your mouth. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. So in the DS version, you actually manually did this fingerprinting powder to do the credits, while there were pictures of characters on the bottom, on the top screen. Or no, the credits were on the top screen. You did this to reveal character portraits on the bottom that were like all done in like the powder. Yikes! I thought I was a goner for the moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show. Can't shake me off that easily. So yeah, unfortunately we can't see the character portraits because they just replaced it with the credits. Because again, there's only one screen. But yeah, the ha objection ending started with 2, and they added it into this case when they released 1 here. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Wild ride, yeah? Watch this. Ran out of batteries. Anyway, yeah, this is interesting. They actually do like a separate credits sequence for this case, but well worth it after how long it is. This is pretty much like it's almost half the length of the whole first game to get put together. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Starr managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Wright Way lunch. Top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Actually, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, well, it's a whole meal, probably. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh, no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Only time you get to see the chair. Can't wait for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Crossover featuring Gyakuten no Megami. Yeah, I finished it. Hey, Toxico. I'm actually just finishing the stream up now because it's, like, late. I gotta end this as soon as this is done. Start weak, finish strong approach, yeah. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. She gets a little shout-out at the end. Yeah, wow, I didn't realize... I forgot how long that last case is. That's pretty much, like... That pretty much added, like, another... that was almost, like, more... half, if not more than half... of the length of the first game as a whole. Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. Hmm? What's going on? He wasn't there, and there was a note there. That's actually, I'm gonna save that, because that's foreshadowing, technically. Way too long, yeah. This case took 4 segments on its own. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Europe on train. Well, she's probably going to the airport. I'm also taking a photo of this because technically this is also foreshadowing something pretty interesting. But, yeah. And that's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the DS version. The original, the first American release. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, there's no save point after that. We didn't really get to see the art for this, because the way this collection works, it kind of throws you into the next case. So this is the finished art for all the cases. This displayed in the DS version on the touchscreen. Like, that's why it's so tall, because you have the top screen and the bottom screen. There's Turnabout Samurai. There's Turnabout Goodbyes. And there's Rise from the Ashes, which I don't believe that's the art they actually used for it. I can't remember. It's like the only one that looks like that. Anyway, that's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It isn't, yeah. So we got 2 more games in this collection, Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations. Episode 4 was good, 5 was too long. It is, but it was still a good story. I was gonna do Justice for All, like, immediately, but I have too many other plans now, so this is probably gonna get scrapped for now. Here's just a teaser of what the next case is, The Lost Turnabout. If you think this game got a ridiculous... Are you excited for Apollo Justice Trilogy? Yes. That's why I'm gonna be playing all these. I'm gonna do all 3 of these, and I'm gonna do both Edgeworth games before the trilogy comes out. And then I'm gonna do Apollo Justice and everything onwards from there. I already did Great Ace Attorney the last 2 years. But yeah, this was really good. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming by. Thank you for the good shit today, chat. Yeah. Thank you for the raid, Zephyrberry, who's not here anymore. But thank you for all the follows. Thank you for the raids. I appreciate it. This is definitely one of the most active streams I've had in a while. And I didn't even do everything I planned on, because I wanted to do F-099. Not a lot of people are streaming. Actually, oh, Casey's playing Starfield. Let's throw them another raid, because I think they were away from their computer when I threw them the last raid. They're really cool. Casey Mongelo's a voice actor, if you did not know. Oh, of course, now commercial breaks in progress. Oh, I think they're ending, actually. Or maybe not, I don't know. Heck yeah, good shit today. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. I have to go because it's after 4 a.m. Tomorrow night, we will finish Mega Man Star Force 2 finally. And then Tuesday will be Pokemon and Theater Rhythm. And that'll be the rest of the week, probably, until we hit the end point of that. Anyway, I'm gonna raid Casey. They are still streaming. So let's say hi to them. Why didn't it copy? Copy. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you for sticking with me tonight. I really appreciate it. You all have a great evening. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, and good night.